Welcome back, Screamers, to another episode of Zero.Point Reviews. This time, we got a question for you. Would you like to know more about Starship Troopers? Kevin's back with me again. Kevin, did you ever see this one in the theater?
Yeah, man. I actually worked in a theater when this came out. So we got to see it the Thursday night before, and I almost got my butt kicked by a customer because of this movie the Friday after that. the opening night, Dad took his kids to see it and didn't know what to expect. So he decided to take it out on the doorman.
Take it out of the door,
guy. How could you let me take my kids to see that shit? I don't know, man.
I just take the tickets, bro. What's up?
Kinda. But yeah, I remember seeing this in the theater, and that Thursday night, like all of us that was there at midnight, we were just like jaw to the ground, like, whoa, because I hadn't seen anything like this, obviously, since like RoboCop, and it blew my mind just like RoboCop did.
Well, good thing it was directed by Paul Verhoeven. We had our influences from RoboCop again, and it starts almost right away with this movie. And before we get into it too much, I saw this in theaters as well, and I absolutely love the movie. Been a super fan ever since. I loved the use of models and CGI. It was a perfect blend of everything, and I just had such a good time. It wasn't as eventful as, say, Independence Day, like we talked about last week. However, the crowd was very much into this, and I really remember strongly that everybody was really into a lot of it, and when a couple deaths happened at the end, people got mad, and I know at least one person walked out of the theater.
Really?
Yup. Went dizzy.
Oh, sissy lalas.
Hey.
I mean, that sucked, but still.
Hey, when you're a fan of somebody and you're shipping that romance, and she goes bye-bye, it's like, God damn it, he's gonna end up with the other bitch.
Was shipping even a thing for that? Like, or back then? I guess it probably was. Oh yeah, because there was Friends. Never mind. Ross and Rachel. Jerry and Elaine.
Yeah, pretty much.
But this movie was pretty good for the whole shipping thing. It was annoying in that way, I guess. Probably the one thing I could take away from this movie is the romantic double triangles, diamond. What is this? I don't know.
Yeah, it had a four-way romance going on between like everybody. Even though I don't think Rico and the other dude were gonna hook up or anything like that.
We don't know that.
Hey, if it was made these days, don't talk about progressiveness because it could have happened.
Like, I think the song Love Stinks was probably written with this in mind, like the book.
Yeah.
Like, he loves her, but she loves him, and they love each other. It got a little confusing. It got frustrating is what it got. Because you like Rico. You don't want to see him get screwed over.
No.
Even though he kind of wins in the long run for a minute.
Yeah, just for a moment.
A brief moment.
20 minutes.
Was it even that? Oh,
no,
yeah.
It didn't seem like it, but that's how much time he was given. And she looks at him, she's like, and he says, we could do it. Okay.
Yeah, right? Like 20 minutes? So really excessive, but thank you.
Apparently he can last longer than most dudes.
Yeah, right? I mean, I understand that being out in war is probably stressful, but I don't know that I would be that distracted.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you weren't going to be that hard up, and I was going to say, that's what she said.
No, I would be.
Well, they had this unrequited love going on for a while, and at times it made you wonder, is she really that much into him, or is she really there for like to be a Marine, and was he really there to be a Marine and whatnot. And he really said he wasn't there for that, but he ended up becoming one despite that. And so did she. They both became very fine soldiers and warriors, and they still had their tension between each other. They felt like they had a more honest friendship and relationship going on than him and fucking Carmen did.
Yeah, it takes a little while, but Johnny eventually sees Diz as the person that she is. Like, he eventually figures out that she didn't join mobile infantry because of him. She joined it because she's just a bad motherfucker in general.
Right.
And Carmen sends him this wonderful fucking video vlog. Is that the best term you can call it, or video message?
Yep.
That how much she loves it out here, and it's so pretty, and that's why we can't be together.
I'm gonna go career, so fuck you and fuck your dreams of us having a relationship together.
Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't help that this is one of the last fucking things that Rico saw. Like,
she's staring at him, Patrick Muldoon. I mean,
yeah, Rico's fucking kissing her while she looks at some other guy, because some other guy is a pilot and going to help her get up to the fucking stars.
Right.
So she's like, oh, hey, I bet I can work my way up there.
She's going to climb that ladder rung by rung.
I did not like her. And I like the spite in Dizzy's eyes whenever she sees Carmen. It pleases me.
Yeah, Carmen and Dizzy they're so not even on a friendship or frenemy level. It's I see you and I don't like you, period. I'm not even going to be your friend. I don't give a shit about you. And I love it because that's how the movie starts off, with the whole high school or scene or college scene, whatever you want to call that as. And just before that scene, they're both like, he's walking with Carmen and she's talking like, I'm going to do this. And he's like, well, you have to have nerves of steel. And then Diz walks by and she's like, yeah, nerves of steel. And then the next scene, you got Carmen puking as they're dissecting everybody. Or dissecting the bugs.
And the face that Dizzy's making, like her
Yep.
and Patrick both are in PH, just laughing their fucking ass off. And then Rue McClanahan over there, which I never really realized until this time that really was Blanche.
Right.
She's blind and even looking at her like, the fuck are you doing? Fucking pussy.
Nerves of steel, huh?
Right. And
my God.
I apologize to people in advance. I will most likely sound spiteful talking about Carmen in this show.
We're talking about Carmen the character. So
yeah, no Carmen. No actual Carmens are spited in the making of this show. So
nope. But in the review of it, yes.
Yeah. This Carmen Ibanez, we have opinions and thoughts. And I had plenty to show, but I took them all away. Yeah.
I bet you did.
There was a few HPV jokes and anyway, yeah. Carmen is not my favorite character in this show. You know who I think is Jake Busey. Like,
Busey is awesome in this goddamn movie.
He absolutely rolls. Like, he comes in like a bully, and Rico goes to stand up to him, and he's got this great look, this smile on his face right here. Like, I like you, man. We're gonna hang out. Yeah. And it's just like super supportive of him. Like, he found his buddy at that point.
Yep, you're gonna be my buddy whether you like it or not.
Yeah, kind of. It's one of those stick with you from the until the end moments. So Ace was a dope character. I like him.
You also had one of my favorite scenes of, why do you need your hand to press a nuke button? Put your hand up on the wall. Puts his hand up on the wall, and then the knife scene. You press the button if you disable his hand. That scene gets me every freaking time.
Especially because he's like so arrogant about it, like, well, what do we need to do that for?
Yeah, he's still like, yeah, I don't know what's up with this shit. I just gotta press a button and bomb shit. Yeah.
And this is after Zim has already given somebody a compound fracture, just flipping them over. Like he's training on the job, for lack of a better term. Foot to those those cadets.
I love how bratty they were and how he kept putting them in their place. Like even fucking Diz. It's like, oh. She's like showing the transfer papers, and he's like, "You think you're tough enough to make it here?" And then it's like, "All right, it's go time." And she actually gets a shot in on him, which I think got a little respect out of him. And then he puts her down.
Oh, doesn't he choke her out and her eyes just roll?
Passes her out, and he's just like, "Yep, you're not quite there, kid."
Good spirit. Good spirit.
I'm just going to choke you out. I'm not going to break every bone in your arm and your hand that you landed on my face with.
Crush your windpipe.
Yep.
No, but it was funny. The boot camp sessions in here were great. I liked that. I like I want to call them the Roughnecks. They're not Roughnecks, obviously, but they've eventually become them or adopt into them. Is that? I guess that's the way you can put it.
Because they get transferred to their unit, and then through attrition, they basically become Rico's Roughnecks.
Yeah, but they clown each other so friggin' bad, like family, worse than family. And there's a scene in the shower where Rico's angry because they're asking Diz why he joined up, and she just flat out turns around. He joined because of a girl. And just totally fucking pissed about that because it's true. He joins because of Carmen, and Carmen dumps him the first fucking chance that she can get. Like as soon as she gets up there, finds out that this dude Xander that she was flirting with at the ball got her to be a pilot. She dumps Johnny, and now he's stuck in the mobile infantry with no place to go. He's stuck. And eventually you'll find out that the bugs shoot a meteor at Earth and it lands on Buenos Aires. Knocks all of Argentina out. But the thing is you have to ask yourself, had Carmen not hit that giant bug turd, it may have landed somewhere else other than on their home. Because clearly they knocked the trajectory in a different direction.
See, I thought that was a great bank shot. And she ended up nailing the hole-in-one for them.
She's like, I told that school, fuck them.
Yep.
No, but
Luke does the flying, MI does the dying.
That was funny though, because they don't flat out say it, but they do show it. The meteors being flung at Earth are giant bug turds.
Yeah.
Bug turds. Argentina got destroyed by poo.
Hey, before Avatar, this was aliens in space, bug style.
Aliens in space, bug style.
Hey, well, in the next Avatar movies, they're going to be doing aerial warfare in space at some point. It's like, how the fuck? But I don't know. Cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
Didn't they do that in the first movie?
Oh, that was on the planet. They never actually went to outer space.
Okay.
And then the second one is largely underwater or whatever it is. I haven't seen it yet, but
I have no desire to see it. I didn't like the first one.
I'll watch the Starship Troopers sequels instead.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my thing about that. We're going to 0 Point for just a moment. I apologize in advance, but that's the name of the show. That movie would have been really impressive to me had it come out before Final Destination 4, because Final Destination 4 had the exact same digital 3D graphics, but a much better fucking kill count, for lack of a better term. Like, it did nothing for me after seeing Final Destination. That wowed the shit out of me. So Avatar being Pocahontas in space did nothing for me. And that's 0 Point review for me.
Love the 0 points. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming. I'm going to swerve us back to good game, Johnny. Good game. So we come back.
Cheeky. Smack that ass.
He throws a fit because Diz fucking tells him about Carmen, and they're all just sitting there kind of laughing and shit. And the lady gives him a good game on the way out.
Yeah, she gives him a little good swift smack. And she
It was
later takes out
fantastic.
she takes out a guy because his helmet's off because she freaks out from their training
Oh,
simulation.
that was fantastic, though. It really was. I almost had a shot of it. I got a picture of it, but I didn't include it. They did a decent job. The same type of effects where Peter Weller gets shot in the head. They
Yeah.
did the same thing to this actor, and it was beautiful looking.
Well, a lot of the gore in this movie was brilliant and fantastic. Like, they brought the amazing practical effects when they needed to, and I thought it was just killer all the time. The headshot to all the dismembered bodies, it felt like you were in a goddamn like real war at times. Like, goddamn, that's brutal, especially the extreme Mormon settlement that got wiped out initially, and they're showing like stock footage of what it would be there. It's like, holy shit, there's innards and limbs everywhere, or there's blood everywhere. It's so chaotic, and I don't know, it really changes the tone of the movie. Like, you watch this, you're like, okay, this is kind of a fun little action sci-fi movie. Oh shit! And then all of a sudden the gore comes at you, and it's like, okay, now you got me. And as the movie goes along, it progressively gets more and more serious and harder in tone, and then the deaths start coming, and then the plot twists start coming, and so the film is continually building. So the pacing on this, it matches everything that they're doing, from the lighter stuff, crescendos at just the right time, and then it's foot on the gas pedal for the rest of the movie.
Well, they don't tell you throughout the entire movie, but you look at this shot right here, and this is how the movie begins. This is how the movie ends.
Fucking Carmen.
Yeah, so if you like the side characters like Kitten or Ace or Dizzy, well, not Ace, but like, don't get too attached to any of the side characters because they don't make it. Mormon
I would have
extremist
traded
part.
Carmen for Dizzy. I am a pro Dizzy dude. So
I
Team
am
Dizzy.
too. Like, she was just a lot more fun. She talked a lot more shit on Carmen. Carmen was a great big sissy. Like, she had the only skill she had was flying. Her story, as it progresses further, you don't feel bad for her. Like, when the dude that she likes dies, you don't feel bad. You're like, well, good, fuck him. He was an asshole to Rico. Like, every time Rico talked to him, like, Xander had his neck rolled around like he just got done fucking Carmen or some shit. I wanted to kill him throughout the entire film. So
Right.
When he buys it, I'm not upset. I don't think anybody's upset. Not for him, not for Carmen, not for nobody. It's kind of like, bye-bye. Finally.
Yeah, I think it might have been a little more impactful if like Carmen had died. And I mean this on a legit level. Like, they would have had to have constructed the movie a lot differently. They could have still had Dizzy gotten injured, but still gotten out of there. They didn't have to kill her, but I see why they did it at that particular moment. It definitely fit the narrative of the movie they were going for. But seeing how like things actually played out, it's like, oh man, you didn't have to end with the trio. You could have had one of them dying. It could have been Carmen, and it would have been just fine to set up the stage for the next sequels. You got a different dynamic going on.
Yeah, they wanted to strip Johnny of innocence, and they do, and it kind of sucks for him. Like, people look at this as an action flick, and they don't look at it as the evolutionary process of John Rico. Like you said, it starts with that picture of them as kids, and it ends with them as pictures of veterans, just like totally fucked up veterans. I Zero-Pointed again, just talking about how Johnny got evolved. I don't know if they would how that dynamic would have worked. I would have liked to have seen Carmen go instead of Diz, but like I was saying, Johnny had to lose everything in order to become, Rico's Roughnecks, and I get that, and you see that later on, and I do have a picture of that, probably the exact moment that Johnny dies, because really you don't think about it. John Rico died on Clendathu with Dizzy.
That's true.
Well, this picture right here, like, there is no life in his eyes. He's looking
angry.
at Carmen. Oh yeah, because the government just said, no, we're not going to nuke the planet. We want to capture the bug. So he just lost his entire squad, his girlfriend, and his mentor in like 5 minutes for nothing. And then they send Carmen to rescue him, of all fucking things.
Right. I didn't think that was Clendathu. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that was Tango Urilla.
Oh, okay. Clendathu was the first planet that they went to then.
And then well, I know they ended on Clendathu when they got the brain bug. Wait, no, I'm wrong. Never mind. We bounce around from planets, and they don't exactly make it clear. And I just watched it the other night, so
they don't know. But this picture here, I really liked this. This is where they decided to strike back after the bugs hit Argentina.
It was also in the trailer too when it first came out.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
I don't remember the trailer at all, and I probably should have, considering I worked at the theater. But they showed how massive this was, or wanted to show you how massive the army of humans was, just so when you finally see the bugs and see the bugs take over the screen, it's like, oh my God, you almost want to poop your pants moment, because the bugs, when they invade, it's like so much worse. Where is it? I don't have it. Dang it. But this will do too. It's the bugs are this, but the entire screen when they attack. And it's just like, what, 13 people against this entire planet of bugs trying to storm this tiny little base that they've already broken into.
That was awesome.
But the great part about this movie, just like we talked about with ID4 last week, is you see millions of monsters, beautiful monsters in broad daylight. There was nothing dark about this. There was nothing left to the imagination. You got to see how scary these aliens were, or the bugs. And you have it in your head of what they look like. They're amazing. Disgusting, but amazing.
Yeah, there's definitely some great creature designs going on in this, and the CGI work was just phenomenal. I think probably how they made that work with the CGI was the different color schemes in them. They didn't have to color as much through the broad daylight because they had a lot of tans and browns on, like in that last picture you showed. They had enough color going on in the creatures. They didn't probably have to do too much extra work. You just kind of color around it, maybe. I mean, that's still colored and still textured, so they still did work, but like, you got enough light in the creatures that when they're moving, as long as you're seeing movement, like in the distance, like it probably worked just fine.
Yeah. No, you're right. They did a good job in this. We said last week, there's good special effects from the 90s and there's bad special effects from the 90s. And this was probably the best of that type of special effect. In my eyes, anyway. I didn't think Independence Day was as good as this for its special effects.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, I thought this looked beautiful. And just to put it in perspective, like, this Blu-ray looks really good on like a PS5, but if you really want a great picture quality, you're going to want that Steelbook or the 4K release that Sony came out with a little while ago. And just for giggles, this is the second copy I have. So this will be up for a giveaway, and at the end of the video, before we close out, I'm going to let you know the details on that bad boy. I'm going to set it down. I'm not going to have it drop on me.
The password is good game.
Hey, we could do that.
No. But Dizzy, though, when Dizzy goes, you feel bad because it's such a happy moment where she's like, "Woo! Got that mother!"
That was
She's
great,
super
dude.
excited.
Well, it played into her character from the beginning of the movie when she was like the quarterback of the football team.
Yeah, like there was no stopping her. She was on her way and then running back towards the towards the
They never should have said shit to her. They should have just told her to keep running, not stop and look, you know.
Or hey, here's a thought. Shoot behind her. Shoot at it.
Just tell her to drop to the ground or something. Yeah, this is what I mean about like killing her just felt kind of cheap because it felt like they were missing something by not trying to save her other than just once she got nailed, then they started going after her, bringing her onto the plane. Then she died on the way out.
And it was very unceremonial. Like just got rid of her like they decided to. Like, did she not test well enough in pre-screenings or what? But
I don't think that had anything to do with it. It was probably planned, but they probably were not expecting, you know, Dina Meyer and Casper Van Diem to have such awesome chemistry together. I mean, they probably saw it in you know, auditions and testings and read-throughs, but like once you finally get to that point of the movie, all of us are like, we like her, we don't like the other one, and you just fucking killed her, so fuck you.
She waited the entire goddamn movie.
Hey, at least she got Rico. At least she hooked up with him. So at least there was a little bit of a payoff for her character. I just don't like how they took her out like that because she had a better relationship with Rico and they were better for each other. And even he understood that in the end. Because he's going to like rest check and he's like, don't pass up a good thing.
Yeah, and that was sage advice. It really was. Like, why would you save yourself for someone that's not going to be there for you ever, that is not there for you, has proven that she doesn't want to be there for you, whereas this person over here has been, is, and always will be, well, at least for the next few minutes, on your side and waiting for you. Like, it kind of sucked for him or for her. I had a shot of basically where he starts that fight with Xander after seeing them for the first time since boot camp, and Dizzy's just giving Carmen the evil eye, and Ace is trying to calm her down in a way, and you know she's just kind of looking at her like, you know, she has HPV, right? Like,
I knew you had to get that joke in there somewhere.
Most sexually active adults do.
Now, honestly, how did you feel the actors did in this? Did you like how they all portrayed their characters at least?
I did not like Denise Richards. I'm not a fan of hers, so that's probably the only reason. Otherwise, everyone was perfectly cast in this movie. I've loved everyone throughout their entire career. There's people that have been in different movies that pair up in this again, like Michael Ironside and the general that they save. The general, I can't remember his name. He plays Quado in the original Total Recall.
He's also in Office Space too. He's one of the.
Is he one of the Bobs?
No, he's not one of the Bobs. I'm sorry, but I have seen him in plenty of other things and other TV shows as well. Oh, Good versus Evil. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Oh, wait, here it is. I love that look on Michael Ironside's face.
He's freaking great.
Pick up the general. But yeah, it doesn't show him too terribly well, but this general hides in the refrigerator, like ditches his company and hides.
Yep. Oh my God, we're all gonna die.
His death was glorious. I loved it. And you couldn't feel bad for him with that giant winged bug flying at him or hitting him.
Oh, that was great. He got smoked.
Oh yeah, like there was nothing left. It was like the bug hit the windshield and he was the windshield, and they both went spread. But yeah, Michael Ironside, it would have been funnier, I think, if he would have gotten to kill him for being deserter. That would have been damn funny.
Well, he was yelling at him like, calm yourself, get your shit together. You want to die? I'll kill you right now. That was so good. And, one of the other generals or, drill instructors was Dean Norris earlier on when they were going to whip Johnny Rico. And he was the base commander or whatever he was. I should know what he was, but he was him working with like Clancy Brown as Zim to just kind of like, rein Rico back in line after the accident on the course. Just that was some great like acting and chemistry right there. They all played it really good and really straight. And like one of my favorite bits is, when Rico's getting strung up and Zim gives him the thing to bite down on, and he says, "This'll help. Trust me, I know." In that moment, you could tell he got whipped too. So he's been through this before himself. And I think in that moment, Rico's like, "Understood, sir. Gotcha."
Yeah. And Rico
So
was
there's some really good trauma.
There was. And there was, it went beyond that. When Buenos Aires attack happened, Zim wanted to go fight. And Dean kept telling him, "No, you can't. It's illegal. Legally, I can't let you go.
Unless you bust your own self down to be a private."
Yeah. And so he tears up Rico's, God, what was the name of the papers? Resignation, basically.
It was like a 10, it was some sort of numbered form about like requesting to leave and go down washout lane.
Yeah. And he says, is this your signature, Private?" "Yes, sir, it is." "No, it isn't."
"Doesn't look like your signature to me."
Yeah. And that got him demoted, down to a private. So that's what got him out to capture the bug.
Maybe, or because the base commander turned his back. It was like, "I didn't see this. There was no form." Because I'd be willing to think like after some period of time, something happened with Zim to convince him like, "You know what? Fuck this shit. I need to be out on the front lines like everybody else." Because even Rashchek went from being a teacher to being like one badass motherfucker of a commander.
Yeah, he really did.
I love Zim. Clancy Brown, fucking love him.
Clancy Brown is one of my favorite actors of all time. He is my favorite Lex Luthor of all time.
He's also the Kurgan.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But this, I don't know why. Like Zim is probably going to be one of my favorite characters of his, if not my all-time favorite character of his. He was just really cool, and his name's Zim. So, I really liked him. But I love that little. My baseball just decided to run away.
0-Point time.
I owe everyone a beer. I'm sorry. Oh God, I lost it again.
He gives Brown,
Yes, I know. He gives Rico a wink when he's showing him his private patch. So I mean that part was cool. And I want to go back just a little bit before Zim captures the bug to where Xander gets his brain sucked out, because that was really truly my favorite moment, was watching that sucker die. And it's a little gross, so I apologize. We had to blurt a little bit out for the kids at home. But he gets his brain sucked out, and as the bug sucks, it sucks out his smarts, and in doing so, it gets all the military intelligence. And it's kind of a far-fetched, but it works. But golly, that thing was ugly. Like, it was really ugly. I didn't care for it.
Well, they had great designs up until that point. Even I admit, like, man, the brain bug, that's what you got for the brain bug. Okay. I mean, they're just going more for the gross out factor. But they did make mention that's only one of the brain bugs. That there's more of them out there. So they were setting up for sequels. So.
And it would have been nice if they would have gotten those sequels with a huge budget. That would have been good because this was fun. This was a fun movie. We were talking before. I don't understand why people rag on this movie or poke fun at it. It was riffed as a riff tracks movie, which if you guys don't know what that is at home, it means that there's a commentary along with the movie that pokes fun or cracks jokes interactively with the movie. That
It
was
does a
done.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, but not without the silhouettes. It's just an audio track to it all.
Yeah. And it was voted on by fans. So it wasn't something that was really bad and they just decided, hey, let's make fun of this terrible movie. It was something that was voted on by fans that this is what they wanted to see get riffed. And good, bad, and different. They've done The Wizard of Oz. They've done Night of the Living Dead. They've done a bunch of great movies.
The good,
so it's no
bad,
offense
and
to
the
that.
ugly.
Oh, if only.
I'm talking in general, the good films, the bad films, and the ugly films. They go across the spectrum.
Yeah, they do. Urban Sasquatch or suburban Sasquatch.
Oh God.
But this movie, it's fun. It is very rated R. I was telling you guys at the beginning. So when I was working the front door at the movie theater, the dad comes out of theater 2. I will never forget. It was the first big theater we had, which was number 2. And he's got both of his kids by the hands and he's like pulling them. He's walking so fast and he's yelling at me. It's like right in my face with his finger. Like, how could you let me take my kids into that movie? And blah, 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 blah. My manager comes out who's shorter than me and I'm 5'7". So Serge is looking up at this guy who's probably 6 foot, tells him, come here. And he points up at the marquee above the door. He's like, what does that letter say? What is it? Rated R. You're not getting your money back. And then he kicked him out.
Get the fuck out of my theater, boy.
Yeah, like this is not necessarily a movie for kids. Like I don't know what everyone's household rules are. My kids get to see a lot of stuff because I need to watch stuff. I like watching monster movies, and my daughters like them. My son doesn't. My daughters do. This isn't one where I was kind of like, hey, kids, come on, let's watch the movie. No, because the special effects are a little too good, and my son's really afraid of bugs. I'm really afraid of bugs.
Stomp out the bugs. Hey, everybody's got something about bugs. That's probably why this movie worked so well. I know it's based off of the original book by Robert Heinlein, but people have said like this doesn't really match up with the book all that great, but like Paul Verhoeven, this is his style. And so I think he adapted it very well. Granted, there's things that are missing from the book, like the jetpack and whatnot. That eventually comes around in the sequels. You get that eventually. I just would love it if they would go back. I doubt they'll ever do it. Go back and just use the first one as the base for a newer movie. You could do it now, 27 years later, and just, Casper Van Dien's still kicking. He's still rocking it doing Mad Heidi as a movie. Y'all need to go see that. That shit's fucking awesome. I know you killed Dina Meyer. I mean, you don't really need Denise Richards. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris and just Rico back, that'd be fine. And I know they brought him back in a later sequel, but, give these guys one more legit shot at Starship Troopers. They can bring it home.
Yeah. For something like Starship Troopers, a reboot isn't necessary. A continuation is very simply all that's necessary.
There's plenty to pilfer from the books, the current modern day stuff. You could do would you like to know more? You can still do spoofs of news items and whatnot, like deaths at 12 o'clock. I mean, of course you could keep doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I wish they would, because with war stories, there's no shortage of things that you could talk about. I mean, so many sieges and battles, and there are so many different crazy designs for insects that they could make for these things that really the sky's the limit.
I'll do my part.
I'm doing my part. I cut it out, but that one scene, the commercial where it's showing all the kids like stomp on the giant fucking roaches and shit, and the mom's like, "Oh, those are my kids." It's like, freaky ass lady. She was really freaky, but I understand that was the whole propaganda thing.
Right.
And the propaganda to this was fantastic. Like,
It fit.
this was not a movie about democracy, freedom, or anything like that. This was a more or less fascist country going and fighting. Like, that's just really what it was. Like, there were no citizens, there was no rights. You had no rights to do anything unless you served in the military
Or were a
and
citizen by some other means.
yeah, which I think from his parents' standpoint was financial.
Yep.
Which I was not sad to see his parents go. Watching that big shadow come up over them, I was kind of like, get ready for a big surprise.
Deep Impact or Armageddon. It's here.
Right? Don't cry for you, Argentina. We won't.
Boom.
Yeah.
Call the bird ward. Kevin's on fire.
I know. It's my hot take.
Well, you brought up earlier, like, why do some people not like this movie? I think what a lot of people look at is like the ending of this movie, and they look at like Neil Patrick Harris. I mean, at the time, he wasn't looked at nearly as fondly as he is now. This is before Harold and Kumar movies, and before he really went off the, into the mainstream with what was it, How I Met Your Mother, before he even did that show, and before he really became like a mainstream star. He was a child star before this, but like this is after that. So I think this kind of was that lull period where it's like, that's that Doogie Howser kid. I can't buy into him. I did, and I think he did fine. But also I think part of it's the ending where he's touching the alien, he reads its mind, and he just yells, "It's afraid." But I think when people get mad at that, they're not understanding, like, this is the first real assessment of these creatures, and it's fucking afraid because we're whipping its ass. We're killing its family. We're taking it to them just to know that, hey, this motherfucker's afraid of us now. Hey, now we have an edge. And I think people overanalyze it to the point of, oh, but that's so stupid. You couldn't come up with like, hey, they're gonna attack somewhere else. Of course they're gonna fucking like interrogate the fucking thing. We just capture the fucker. But we're already at 2 hours and 7 minutes into the movie. We need to fucking wrap this shit up. So we get this little throwaway scene at the end, and that's where it's like, yes, we're gonna interrogate the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and they did a really good job with that, tying everything up with the last, would you like to know more?
Exactly.
It worked really well. And then it goes full circle with Mr. I want to go home, I'm not made for this, to this now being Rico's Roughnecks.
Yeah, he's all in.
Yeah, this face right here that Casper's making is just like, dude kills everything. I love it. This and the scene where he's like giving Carmen the stank eye after the rescue, like that was some serious shit. One, because Johnny Rico died. John Rico is the only person that came off of that planet. Yep. And he's a warrior. He is a damn warrior. He was raised to be one by his teacher, and that's what life made him.
Yep, fantastic. Some people also kind of mentioned like they don't like the acting in this, dude. Casper Van Dien had charisma for days, or he wouldn't have gotten the lead role. When you first start this movie, you're like, oh, what a pretty boy. I can't buy into this. By the end of the movie, if you're not buying into him, I think you're watching the wrong movie for you. Like, definitely the movie is not for you at that point.
Listen,
this is my opinion.
If these people could fucking bitch about the acting, but not the fact that all of these actors are supposed to be South American.
Yeah, I know, right?
They're not bitching about the right things. Like, you got to suspend a little disbelief.
And watch some of their other movies. They're fine actors when they have a very good director to guide them along. Dina Meyer, I know people hate the movie Bats. I fucking love Bats. And I think she's great in that one with Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah, that's right. That came out just before this, didn't it? Or was it a little after?
Well, it was before, I thought.
I was going to say, because I know that was at the theater when I was working there too.
That was definitely mid-90s-ish.
Yeah. Those are good years.
I'm not going to look it up because you'll hear me clacking on my keyboard.
Clickety clackety clack.
I have a mechanical keyboard. It would sound through here.
Oh. Anyway.
Like that.
I love that. No, I have not seen any of the sequels. I don't necessarily want to see the sequels except for the one that has Casper in it. Like that's
I believe that's called Marauder, but I'm not positive. It's been a long time, and I don't actually own them.
I want to say my dad does, or I know he's seen them all, but I think Casper's on the cover of that one. So that's what I need to go look for. Or I guess I could just go IMDb it too. But anyway, yeah, that's the only other one that I ever really wanted to see. And I've just never gotten around to reading the book, which I feel like a bad fan because I like reading and I like this, but I don't want to not
Starship
like
Troopers 3 Marauder, so I was correct.
Good job.
And he was also like Johnny Cage in the second season of Mortal Kombat Legacy. I forgot about that.
Really?
Yep.
That's
and he
cool.
was also in Sleepy Hollow movie. That's the other movie I really like him in.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow's cool.
Yeah.
My wife won't watch that. I'm like, it's a phenomenal movie. Like what? Why? She doesn't like period pieces.
She's a lost cause, bro.
I know.
She is hereby banished from our show. She wants nothing to do with this anyway.
No, she doesn't.
No, if we ever do Napoleon Dynamite, my wife's going to want to be on that. So,
I don't think my wife's ever seen that. I've never seen that one. Was that me or you? Somebody got a ding. Oh, that was her. She can hear us talking.
It's like Candyman. It just came up on the name more than 3 times, or she'll start dinging.
She'll probably tell me the kids are killing me.
Okay.
Usually nice the dog's killing the kids, so whatever.
And then they're sleeping on the dog, and
yeah. Like they act like they don't like each other, but then they all like fall asleep on one another.
Yeah.
It's like having cats with a dog. It's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, Starship Troopers. I love this movie. I truly, truly do. It's a little bit deeper. I've loved it
since I saw it in the theaters, so I couldn't agree more. I've owned it on every format since then.
Laserdisc too, huh?
No, not Laserdisc. That's the only format I don't have it on. But I have it on every other format.
I would be interested in getting the DVD, or I'm sorry, not the DVD, the Blu-ray or the 4K, because really all I have is the first edition DVD, and they put no effort into the special features on this whatsoever. Golly, it was just they didn't put a whole lot of respect into special features when the DVDs first started coming out.
The Blu-ray has the special features, but I also have like the super bit version from DVD in here, which is like a 2-disc one. It was in the gray thing, and I actually threw those into the same case with this. So
cool.
I like kind of streamlined my collection for like space saving. So that's what I got there. The old original DVD like you got is on the shelf back there, but this is my actual viewable copy ones. But then I just got this beautiful, stunning Steelbook 4K, and I've yet to watch the 4K. I've heard it's really, really good, though.
Yeah, I probably want to get that. Some movies, like, I don't feel the necessity to upgrade to 4K or even Blu-ray, even for that matter.
Right.
But this would be one of those movies where, I would love to see this in 4K. I think it would be stunning.
Yeah. Had I thought about it the other night, I actually would have busted out my 4K to watch it, but it's okay. I already had I had this already sitting out for like the last month, and it's like, just watch it right off of that. It's all
good. Right. Oh goodness. But I'm glad we watched this. This was a good idea to put on the docket for us this year. Yeah. For the month, we've done a really good month of monsters with a lot of bright special effects, with the exception of Jaws that had no special effects because it didn't work for the most part. Otherwise,
right.
Yeah, we've had a really good month.
Yeah.
So if you're new, I was just pandering. I was going to say, yeah, if you're new, we have, Will you stop when I'm trying to pander? Jesus. We have a lot of backlogs. That's all I'm saying, folks.
Yeah, we have had a tremendous month. We're gearing up for more fun in the months coming up. And Starship Troopers, love this movie. Great cast, great chemistry, great special effects, great time. And its runtime does not feel like it's the full, like, a little over 2 hours that it is. When I watched it the other night, I watched it straight through, didn't putz on my phone, didn't do nothing. It's very engaging, super fun. There's so much I could gush about this movie, from certain moments to favorite lines. We could be talking about this for another hour if I was to really start getting into some of that. But I had a fantastic time. Kevin did too. And for our little Steelbook giveaway, in our comments below, put down your favorite lines, moments, whatever you got. Make sure you've liked us and hit the subscribe button. If you haven't liked or subscribed to us, then you're not going to qualify. Got to like, subscribe, and put a comment below. And next week, when we drop Demolition Man, that your window for opportunity to enter for this will end. I will announce in Demolition Man who wins. If you don't contact us, you don't get this. We'll give it to the next person. We'll keep repulling until somebody does win this. So somebody is going to get this release. Kevin, you have any other thoughts before I wrap it up?
Tomorrow, so Wednesday, we have a bonus podcast episode coming out for the second half of The Flash. That episode's going to be better than the first one, so definitely check that out tomorrow when it comes out on SunsAndShadows.com.
Absolutely. And if you want to know more, Kevin, throw the little banner while I throw it out.
Where is our banner? Let's see. I would like to know more.
Banner this bitch. All right. Thank you, Screamers, for showing up for another round of 0-Point reviews with Suns and Shadows podcast crew, Jeff and Kevin. And thank you for checking out Starship Troopers. Thank you, our Patreon supporters, Chad Peterman, Skeeter Slater. We love you. Thank you for supporting us. If you want to join us there too, head on over to patreon.com/SunsAndShadowsCast. And hey, we don't stop till the screaming starts. And if you're not screaming now, you will be. We'll see you soon. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at SunsAndShadowsCast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.